Good morning, and welcome to Voices Unleashed. My name is Alexandra Babel, and I'm your host in this series in which we celebrate voices that impact this community and beyond. As a professional musician, a professor of voice, a vocal instructor, a vocal coach, and an artistic director, I've had one and only one passion, and that is the human voice. And it has been my delight to see voices grow and go on into international competitions, international careers, and I would like to celebrate that with you. This is our second episode, and today I'd like to welcome back Nika Lowe, who was our first guest, and today is going to be in the role of co-host. And remember all the details that I myself will forget. So I've put her next to me to help me out. And now I'd like to welcome our honored guest for today, Alex Thiessen. Alex Thiessen is a beautiful woman of extraordinary talent, both vocally and she plays orchestrally as well. She's an artist and an individual like me who has synesthesia, which we will define and explain later on. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you.
We're really excited to have you with us today, as you have shown to me and to many in our community and in the Okanagan Valley that you have an extraordinary vocal talent. You are now the winner again of a festival in the Shuswap with your beautiful soprano voice, and I heard that you got extra points for your Bach.
Oh, yes.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, yes. Oh, I really did. Actually, I was surprised because I didn't think I did very good, but
it's so funny how we often think we just
It's always like that.
You don't think you did very good. Is that a girl thing? I have no idea what that is about, but we often are surprised by our own success. And maybe that's a sweet thing to be because of the humility that brings and the charm when you actually are surprised by people really liked me. That's amazing.
Yeah. I do think it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise because it also motivates you to do better every time.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, you're focusing on what you can improve. But it is nice every now and then to just be like, you know what? I did good. I can calm down. I can be happy.
Exactly. Agreed. I think if I could give advice to young people, or if I could even speak to my own 21-year-old self, I would probably say to myself, celebrate that you're doing well. I never did that. I thought that being a little mean to myself was the way to motivate myself. So even if I came off stage, I would say, oh, I breathed in that one place I didn't plan to breathe. Or it's weird how I couldn't give myself any approval. And so this is something we have really watched in our group. And by that I mean Candesca. Alex is another member of Candesca. And in this group, we're watching each other grow and improve in the area of self-love, self-acceptance, and actually our skill levels grow along with that. So, Alex, where did it all begin for you musically? First of all, where were you born? Where do you come from? And where did this all start?
Well, I was actually born in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We like to call it Winterpeg.
Winterpeg, for sure.
But I don't really remember it because I was only there until I was like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Red Deer, Alberta, which was also kind of like another winter peg.
Not much warmer, yeah.
No. And my musical journey kind of began, I was 7 and my mom signed us up for piano lessons and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I don't mind it. And I started on these little books that had a bunch of pictures in them and I got to play, it was like Angry Alligator or something like that. And I was so excited. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I just
that's
loved
cool.
piano
Because some
so
kids
much.
just fight the whole process,
Oh,
right?
yeah. That was definitely, my brother just hated it. And I was just like, this is great. And I was just flying along, playing the piano, and I just didn't realize that I was technically ahead of my siblings, but I was so mad because one time my teacher said that, oh, we're going to move on to this song, but I'm like, but my siblings are playing this song.
Oh.
And then she's like, well, you don't need to play that one. And I'm like, why not? They're playing it and I'm not. And she's like, because you're ahead of them. And I was just still mad. I was like, I'm still on good.
I'd be pretty happy at that point. That would totally calm any of my anger.
Good. Like, piss me off that I'm so good. Okay, I get it. I understand. So now I'm going to ask you this idea of growing into your musical expression and your joy. When is it that you first started realizing that you had a voice, a vocal instrument?
Actually, it took me quite a long time. I started taking lessons, like classical voice lessons, when I was 12. And I kind of just puttered my way through the RCM grades and didn't realize how much I loved it until I was 17. Actually, I was at Opera Under the Stars, where I'm like, wow, I want to do this.
Oh, wow. So you probably saw us up on the stage. So RCM is the Royal Conservatory of Music. So it is a way of studying classical voice in a significantly strategic way. And after you finish that program, you actually are considered as one to have your associate in music degree. So that's a really legit way of studying voice, and it gives you a way to measure your progress. And when I met you, you were at the grade 8 level?
I think so.
Yeah. So we got together how?
Well, actually, the first time I met you was at festival, and you were an adjudicator. And I think it was my very first festival. That's when I think I was in grade 6 actually then, but
I still remember you.
I've heard Alexandra is a pretty tough adjudicator. Did you experience that?
No, actually, okay. I was like,
maybe she's toned it down a little.
I'm tough but funny. I can say the most poignant thing in a comical way and get away with it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I had the loveliest time at festival. I was so scared.
To be fair, she probably didn't have that many criticisms of your voice.
That's a good point.
I don't exactly remember all that. I just remember laughing so much. You were just so charismatic and hilarious, and I loved it so much, and it just relaxed me.
Oh, thank you. I believe in taking the craft very seriously, but taking yourself not seriously at all. I think that's the secret. So that's where it started. And then we progressed on into you coming for voice lessons.
Yes.
And how has that been for you, the transition from other studios to this studio? And what has it done for your voice and your person?
Oh, I feel like it's transformed me entirely, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. And I look back even a year from now, and I was just... I think I've just grown so much. Like, I don't even recognize the person I am. Like, if I told myself that I would be here a year ago, I would have been like, no way.
Oh, man. I think the transition has been the most dramatic of any pupil I've had in the 100 years that I've been teaching. Okay, not quite 100. But I look great for my age, right? But this transformation, not only vocally and technically, but your person, your sense of identity, and your sense of confidence has been extraordinary, and everyone in our group has noticed that, and you have been an inspiration to the entire group. This voice lesson experience that you and I have been enjoying has been primarily about the breath, and I think a lot of voice people don't realize that it has very little to do with what's happening here. And the voice is everything to do with what's happening here in your breathing mechanism, in the intercostal muscles, in the rib cage, in lifting the sternum, and how you spend air in a phrase, whether you're classical, you're a rock singer, a public speaker, an actor, or someone who loves to scream. It's kind of fun. It's all about the breath and how to use the breath. And people who don't use the breath properly or don't even understand that it is the source of voice begin to use this part of their throat in a cricoid tension. Your cricoid bone is your Adam's apple, and around that is all these beautiful muscles. And if you start using them in this gripping way, it's actually going to be counterproductive for your sound and for your expression, for your dynamics, for anything. So many times I will run into this situation where someone is asked for me to help them because their voice is giving out in some way. It's fatigued, it's hoarse, and particularly after the pandemic, so many voices have come to me with particular damage. That is not your situation. What I found with Alex's voice is this beautiful instrument and an less than clear way of understanding what to do with the breath to support it. I told her she's got like a semi-truck, I think you guys call them lorries, a semi-truck voice with a VW engine. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
So what did we do to sort of get all of that underneath you so you could really express this voice?
Well, we worked a lot on, it was a lot of like the pelvic floor work actually. And just, I can't exactly describe it, what we did. It was like a lot of staccato practice.
Right, staccato, to develop the intercostal muscles.
Yeah.
And that's the key right there. So sometimes in the middle of lesson, Alex would be folded over my piano, and then we'd have a rehearsal for Candesca after that. And I'd say, could you please do your solo? And she just looked at me and say, are you kidding me right now? Like, I don't know if people realize how athletic singing is.
It's quite an ab workout, honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You've got to be fit. And one of my pupils, Olivia Smith, who I hope will get on here too, she's singing professionally as an opera singer, but she was a black belt in judo before I started working with her. So she understood this in the first place, right? And I never really understood that as a young woman. My voice teacher used to always say to me, you got to get pregnant or gain 15 pounds. You were just too weak and too slight to sing. And neither of those were convenient at the moment. So Alex, now we just want to talk to you a little about your experience as, in a more personal way. You've come through identity changes and flexibilities. We were talking about many people are binary thinking. You either are this or you're that. Some people think you're right or you're wrong. And we're progressing now in our understanding that some things are allowed to change, that things are impermanent, and that you might identify this way and then identify this way, and you are allowed to change your mind. Can you speak to that for our audience who really want this understanding?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely feel that as one of my mom's sort of teachers has said, that it's both. I feel like that's kind of how I approach life. It's both.
Yeah.
Or it's not either or just picking one path necessarily forever. I believe there's always a bunch of different branches, of course. Sure. And that no one has to stay something forever. Like I never like to think something defines me, because the definition excludes the possibility for change.
Oh, that is good. Can we pause?
That's really good, yeah. Very profound.
Wow, that is good. Can you say that again?
Definition excludes the possibility for change. Yes.
That is good. So
thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So carry on.
And I mean, guess in regards to personal life, and even like in regards to sexuality, of course, as a teenager, I've had lots of thoughts about what that would be. And even now, it's a little bit more fluid, I like to think, and mostly just in the way I think about it. And my dad used to say a lot of the times, like, why do we have to have labels? And I agree that there's a both nature there too, where I don't think that we have to have labels, but it can really help us to connect with other people, just to help us understand ourselves. Maybe not define ourselves, but to understand ourselves.
Yeah, that is really good. That's good. I think that's a very helpful insight. And I think when we've watched you move and have your being in such a way that you are now celebrating who you are. It's amazing. You have done big work for your own physical fitness and health. Even the way you stand has changed. And it's so exciting to be able to put this human being and this human being on the stage in New York. And this is the point of this episode, as was the point last episode, until we go in a week or two. We are so excited that we will be going to New York. And we would like Nika to tell you all the details about what's happening to us.
Yeah, of course. So as Alexander mentioned earlier, Alex and I are two members of Candesca, which is a group of women just exploring music together, primarily classical, but we do some more contemporary stuff, a lot of interesting a cappella stuff, which is always really fun. And we've had the great honor of being invited to perform at Carnegie Hall in a group of, I believe, 100 voices from across North America under the direction of Dr. Melvin Unger. We're singing the Mozart Vespers. Really difficult music.
It is difficult.
It's honestly been a challenge. Even like we've both been singing for a long time, but I mean, I found it tough. And yeah. But it's super fun. And while we're in New York, we're also going to have some Candesca only performances in one of these performances is in St. John the Divine Cathedral, which I believe is the largest Gothic cathedral in all of North America.
Correct.
Yeah, so just an incredible opportunity. And this coming Sunday, April 28th at 2 p.m., we have kind of a pre-New York concert with all of Candesca to perform some of the repertoire we've been working on as kind of our final ode to Kelowna before we set sail for the Big Apple.
Yep.
Not set sail, there's no boats involved. That's a little old-fashioned. But yeah, we'd love to see you there just so we can perform some of that. Do you have any solos? I think you do,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes. So you can hear some of Alex's beautiful, beautiful music. I've always been very inspired by your voice. It's so rich and just like beautiful to listen to.
For sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
For
love
sure.
it.
And we wanted to chat a little bit about that weird thing that you have and that I have. And it's called synesthesia. And I asked Nika to define it for us.
Yeah, so it can get pretty complicated, so I'm going to kind of just stick with what I think makes sense. Synesthesia is essentially when your senses are kind of connected in a way that they're not for the average person. So, for example, some people will taste words, like a certain word will have a flavor. Or in the case of Alexander and Alex, essentially like hearing colors. So I don't know exactly how this works for both of you. Alex, I'd love to know how you experience this, but kind of, is it like a specific note that is attributed to a color, or is it the chord? Is it the song in general?
That's a good question, because that can change based on the song. So a lot of the times it's specific notes. So I'll be like, I teach my little sister piano sometimes. So I'll be like, press the purple key, and she's like, they're white and black, but not to me. So like notes have colors and specific songs have colors too. And usually I thought that was just based on the key. So if we're in D major is purple to me. So I would think that, if we're in the key of G major, then the song is going to be purple, but not necessarily, depending on what other notes it's centered around and just the other feelings that the song evokes.
It's so exciting to realize that there are other humans like us. The local composer who is internationally renowned is Emont Ramage. And Emont Ramage has synesthesia. I asked an artist to do these large oil vellum pieces for the art gallery about the loon and the lake. And then I asked Emont Ramage to go and look at those beautiful art pieces and write me an opera in those colors. And he did it. And it was extraordinary, beautiful work with lots. He's also a naturalist, so there's lots of nature sounds in his work. And we'll definitely have to get Emont on this show. But back to synesthesia, it's not like Alex and I will have all the same colors associated with all the same sounds. But 10 years from now, if you ask Alex what color that key is in, it will be consistent to her. And mine will be consistent to me. And my son TJ also has this. And so it's a very difficult thing to explain. It's all kind of back here and not my actual eyes. It's back here. It's very difficult to explain, but it is very exciting. And I do use it in my pedagogy when I'm teaching people, because if there's a little bit too much gray in the vocal sound, I know that it's not supported enough by the breath. And I'm looking for jewel tones in the vocal quality of someone singing, which I can't explain it. And I feel a little bit like it's cheating, but I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I honestly really wish I experienced that, but I don't. I just hear notes and there's no colors unless I imagine a color. But yeah, it's a super, I think, useful skill, especially like Alexandra said in your pedagogy. But then also, Alex, you've been using it in a very interesting way, which I'm very, very inspired by. I think it's awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Tell us what you're doing artistically with your synesthesia.
Yes. So I am starting to make crystal bracelets inspired by music. So I would listen to a song, and sometimes I'd listen to the song for a while to figure out what colors it is. And then I design a bracelet based on the color. So I'll use certain crystal beads to represent sometimes like an image the song evokes, or just like the key. And
amazing.
Yeah, I like saying that I'm wearing a song.
I'm wearing the song. Well, you brought some of these beautiful bracelets to one of our rehearsals, and I picked one up and you said, oh, well, that is this piece. And it's sold in 5 hot seconds, by the way. And so maybe we can even see if we can put some of those on sale for you on our concert on Sunday at 2:00. Ladies and gentlemen, the concert itself is listed on Eventbrite. You simply have to go on Eventbrite and say Candesca Carnegie Bound. That's the search, Candesca Carnegie Bound. We'd like to very much thank Kelowna Now. This is a wonderful experience for us. I am thrilled to be able to celebrate this passion for the voice. And we would love to thank all the team that has helped us here at Kelowna Now. Thank you so much, Alex, for being our guest today. Nika, thank you so much for being our co-host.
Thank you.
I can't believe that we're all going to be in New York together very, very soon. But before that, we hope to see you Sunday afternoon at 2:00 at the Cathedral of St. Michael's and All Angels at 608 Sutherland. And your tickets are available on Eventbrite. I'm your host, Alexandra Babel. And this, our second episode of Voices Unleashed. I am just so happy to have this experience. I send you all happiness, love, and a beautiful singing voice. Goodbye for now.